So here we are, we're going to add a new portrait to your list of portraits, and I'll show you how to do that. Actually, I'm going to close that tab. What I usually do at the top here is I open up a tab so that I can load the back end of WordPress or your dashboard here and then go back to your website using the tabs back and forth so that I can see what I'm doing. So I have a bookmark here for your dashboard. And there is a section called artwork. So there are two pieces right now, Beppy and Hans, and we can flip through them. And in order to get to the adding of a new one, we're going to do it up here where it says add new artwork. So it asks some questions. I'm going to add Beppy's dad, so I think that's the name that you gave the painting. And I'm going to choose portraits. And you know what these are, so I'm going to choose portraits in this case. The artwork type is, I'm just going to type what you have for the other ones. I'm not sure what this one is. And the dimensions, I'll use the same, but you can change these anytime. And then the image. So I don't have the image yet, and I've got it loaded up here in Photoshop. And here I actually wrote down a couple of dimensions, and if it's going to be a wide portrait that's going to be landscape, then the maximum is going to be 700 pixels. That's just what's going to fit nice on the screen and not really blow things out of proportion. But if it's a portrait where it's in portrait shape, then the max height is going to be 500. In this case, it's portrait, so I'm going to go 500 with it. I can do that pretty easy using the crop tool here. The width I don't care about in this case. The height I do care about, and I want it to be 500. So now if I go from top to bottom and crop this picture just the way it is, not taking anything off the edges, and just say OK to this. It's going to crop. I know it came out really small, but in fact, that's 100%, and that's just how we want it. So that's the 500 height that I wanted. And now I can save this for the web. And I'm going to save this as a JPEG, not a GIF. And optimized and 70 are pretty standard settings that I use for things for the screen. So I save that, and let's see here. Pull this over, and I'll save it. I'll just save it anywhere in your Robert folder is fine. So that saved it, and now I'll go back to your website. So I have this browse upload button that's going to let me find the image on my computer, and it went right to the Robert folder, and I'm just going to go down to the new image I saved. That pulls it up. The permalink, I can just leave it all alone and click add new artwork. Okay, so artwork added successfully. If I go back to your website and I hit the refresh button, I should be able to see 3, and I don't. I gotta figure this out. Let me pause it. I don't know what the deal was there. It's working. So yeah, so now there's 3. 1, 2, 3. I just had to refresh again for some reason. You can see these up at the top. You and I can figure out whether we want to keep these or not, or we want to put them somewhere else. But the information is underneath it. This information that we entered, and that's how you do it. So you might want to reorder these, and maybe you want this one first or last, or in this case, let's try to put the Beppy portrait first. And in order to do that, I can click on artwork and then reorder. And what's neat about this is I can drag these anywhere I want. So I can take Beppy and click and drag and move it above Volkert. And I can then take Hans and put Hans in between. So then the order would be Beppy and Hans and Volkert. So click update order and success. And I'm going to refresh the screen here. Actually, I'm just going to click on portraits right here. And so it's got Beppy first, and Hans second, and Volkert third. That's how you do it, man.